Good morning, my friends. Hello. How's everybody doing this morning? Hopefully you're all doing quite well. Let's do this thing, shall we? Welcome, and hello, and good morning. So, let's have this chat on elemental behaviors, right? We're going to talk about the astrological ones today. So, what are the influences for the astrological states, right? You've got the yin influence, which is going to be your point of generation, and you've got your yang elements, which are going to be your active generation, okay? So for Aries, you're going to have the yin state in their negatives, in their generation, is going to be survival, being, and autonomy. In their yang state, it's going to be adventure, new projects, and physical labors, right? For Taurus, you're going to have stability, sexuality, and pleasure. In their yang state, it's going to be money, possessions, and sensual delights. For Gemini, you're going to have learning and communication, right? In their yang state, you're going to have learning, communication, writing, and emotional stability. So if you can talk onto the yang state of Gemini, that would be how you do it, right? So, sorry, I got to go through my notes because I really don't want to mess anything up. So for Cancer, that'll be nurturance, caring, and belonging is going to be the behaviors that they're going to represent in their yin state. So they want to be nurtured, they want to be cared for, they want to belong, right? But in their yang state, they want to protect and do things relating to home, family, caretaking, feeding that thing inside of them that, you know, that want to be a good host, good homemaker, good home, all of those things, right? So then we're going to go into Leo. That's going to be, they're looking validation, approval, self-esteem. The yang state is going to be play, games, creativity, and romance. Then we're going to move into Virgo, right? That's going to be efficiency, competence, productivity. And then their yang state is going to be work, service, labor, crafts, and health. For Libra, there's going to be intimacy, relatedness, and beauty. The yang state is going to be marriage, diplomacy, beauty, and art. Then we're going to have Scorpio. They're going to be transformation, sexuality, power, right? Their yang state will then be sex, power, death, and transformation. It's like, what do they need to have change inside of them so drastically that they're forced into action, right? And through those things, through those conversations, through those applications of the conversation, you're able to go deep into those natures and behaviors, right? So then we move into Sagittarius. That's going to be meaning, truth, and expression. The yang side of it is going to be philosophy, religion, travel, and law. Capricorn, it's going to be structure, perfection, and order in the yin state. In the yang state, it's going to be career, ambition, obstacles, and responsibility. Okay? So then we're going to have Aquarius. That'll be perspective, insight, and change in the yin state. The yang state of it is going to be groups, causes, technology, change, and progress. And then we're going to have Pisces. Transcendence, unity, and bliss in its yin capacity. In its yang capacity, you're going to have spirituality, sickness, idealism, drugs, and charity. Okay? So if you can understand that what you're doing is going to apply to somebody's state of autonomy and their caretaking ability, you're talking to the yin state of them as Aries, but you're also talking to them at the yang state of Cancer, right? So if you can figure out what time of day with the hourly charts is going to represent what time of year, what season of life somebody's going to be in when you're talking about this, you can generally clock it down to figuring out, okay, well, these are the type of people that I want to work with today. This is going to be the best way you can build out finding your niche behaviors. What are the behaviors of the people that you want to work with, right? I'm willing to work with everybody on the list because I think it would be fun to go really deep with them into what aspects that they're trying to achieve based on the application of these kinds of conversations. So if you're looking for somebody to talk to business about and you want to do business with a Virgo, then you need to figure out, okay, well, I need to be efficient, I need to be competent, I need to be productive. But at the same time, they need to be servicing work, labor, crafts, or health, right? That's generally what they're drawn to. And this isn't something that I'm making up. This is stuff that's been studied in the astrological charts for generations. I really mean like thousands of years. Like, it's nuts how deep this stuff goes. But understanding the behavior of who it is that we're going to be working with, why it is we're going to be working with them, is really important. So that way we can figure out, okay, well, I'm like this, they're like this, and I don't want to be out of congruency. I don't want to be out of developmental space, right? Like it needs to be generative for both conversations. They have needs that they have to have met. I have needs that need to be met. How do I give what I've got to them in a language that will speak to their self-esteem, speak to their approval, speak to their communication abilities in their inmost soul, right? Like what words can I use to speak to somebody where they're at in their soul, in their mind or in their being of who they think they are or who they choose to be, right? Because again, this is all about creating those archetypes that we can play games with. That way we can create the game of entrepreneurial pursuit, so that way what you have is an entire spread of, well, I've got the Aries over here, I've got the Gemini over here, I've got the Taurus over here. This person's going to behave like a Karen, this person's going to behave like a nerd, this one's going to behave like a douchebag. Like, how am I going to sell to all of these? All right? You're not. Who do you want to work with more? Whose problems can you solve better if you work in those capacities? So that way, if you think about the astrological behaviors that are underpinning people's mindsets, people's goals of operations, right? That's outside of the capacity that most folks want to learn. That's outside of what people want to do. But as you build your business and as you think about, okay, well, I behave like this. Do I want to have affinity in my marketing? Do I want to have people that are like me doing business with me in the way that I like? Or do I want different people that I can speak to? A challenge in people. Something where I am not, so I can go learn from them and with them in that way. Right? And so if we can do that, if we can build out that aspect, we can go deeper into our behavior pattern with them. We can go deeper into refining our own behaviors. So that way what we master now, we can sell tomorrow. Right? So again, it's about service. It's about the application of these concepts for service. How do you serve stability in somebody? How do you serve creativity in somebody? How do you serve caring in somebody? Do you sit with them in a Zoom room and while they're going through their thing, you're working on your own projects, and if they have a question, they can ask, like a classroom, right? Do you then stream that classroom into your group so that your group can see you working with other people, so they get to see that opportunity one-to-one? What happens when you're behind closed doors? Are you the same person? For me, yes, I am. You know, it's just, what is it that we do? How is it that we can prove ourselves to an audience, right? And how do we stay congruent with those things? Well, if we follow the astrological behaviors, and if we can nail down those questions that are related to the planetary aspects within those behaviors, then we have a pretty good shot at being able to do just that. So, that's all I'm going to say on this today. Anyway, stay safe, y'all, and don't be evil with this material. All right? Don't be evil.